Oh, so it's not America getting the price hike.
Nope, it's where else? In this Critical Drop episode, Sony's facing backlash due to the price hike. Resident Evil has been canceled. Many Gamescom trailers have been showcased and more. But before we get started, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel so we can get more of this content. Alright, without further ado, let's start with the first thing that I said. Sony has raised the price of every other country except the United States.
Yeah, and guys, I just learned about this yesterday. So I'm actually trying to do some research on it, but if you have
I had done some research on it. Apparently, in the country of Canada and Australia, apparently prices of the PlayStation 5 have gone up, basically up by like between $50 to $100 more, which is bad. You already know it's facing controversy after that point. I'm like,
yeah, and that kind of makes no sense for Sony to try to do that because the PS5 is still very hard to find.
Yep. And
if you're a person that's particular like myself, because I don't have a PS5, I want the hard drive version. You can actually find the wireless version of it, no problem. So, and of course, limited production on it was because of a particular mineral element that was needed, but there's a pecking order. It's going in computers first, and I think it's supposed to be like some smart TVs or monitors, and then after that, it's supposed to be game consoles. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, if it's already hard to actually find, because there are still people trying to do that botch stuff, I don't hear it too much anymore because they found ways to kind of like keep it under wraps, but it still happens.
It still happens, but
a price hike with limited quantity?
It ain't right. There's already a bunch of price hikes on freaking eBay.
Okay,
people are already putting $800, $900, $1,000 for a PS5. Ain't nobody gonna buy it. Well, people say you'll be surprised.
Well, yeah, no, you'll be surprised because if somebody wants some, people are willing to buy things. But the problem is that people need to stay steadfast, guys. Because I was one of those people that, well, we've always said we don't know which one came first, the chicken or the egg. But back DLC or paid for DLC for me when it happened on the PS3 with Call of Duty. So pretty much you have to blame Activision for that. One of my other friends said EA, so I gotta find out who had the first DLC, but I know for definite Activision did it for each one of theirs, and it wasn't like no small price. It was like a third to half the price of the full game.
Oh, man.
But anyways, I found this article from The Wired. So just to let y'all know, I'm not talking out my butt or whatever else. It says the increase doesn't affect the U.S., but markets in Europe, Japan. Why did this happen already? Hold on. Okay. Europe, Japan, China, Australia, Mexico, and Canada will see a price jump equivalent to roughly 50 euros per console. Now, isn't the euro like 2.2 the American dollar? 1 euro equals 99 cents, so it's changed over time. So it's pretty much a dollar. So yeah, but that's pretty much still saying that a $50 hike. So something that's 500 is actually 550. Now I know in America well, it's not in America, but in America we tax everything separately.
Yep.
If I'm correct, because I heard from friends in the past who were in the military, some countries in either Europe and even in like Japan, the tax is already included. So I don't know if there's an actual separate tax in those countries because I haven't been there. But from what I understand, they did theirs together. But that's still a big difference. So now, so instead of it being so it would be $4.99 here, plus the tax of whatever state you're in America. But if it's euro and they're already including tax, whatever tax their province is up by, so it might actually be like 635 euros or something like that, or 650. Yeah.
So no lie, this is a bad move.
Yeah.
Very bad.
So if there is technically still a console war, Sony just lost
Yes.
by a lot.
For this year, yes.
Yeah, I can't lie.
So now basically it's going to be Microsoft and Nintendo going at it. Surprisingly, Microsoft are now butt heads with Nintendo this year.
See, now that's a hard one to actually say. It's because when it comes down to the graphical fidelity, the Switch still doesn't have the hardware to actually compete into that. But Nintendo's biggest issue is they focus. Now they do have an indie division now, and they're doing good stuff with that.
They doing really good.
But Nintendo still heavily focuses on nostalgia and getting people with that. So Microsoft is able to push the envelope with way more. That's why they've always competed with Sony when it came down to that, the violence and everything else. Nintendo has an issue with the Smash community, which is literally all your lovable franchise characters plus some from others, the features and everything else. And they don't want it to be a fight game. They didn't even support it or whatever else. So that kind of mindset, you can tell where their business model is. They like the scariest thing they're willing to do with the Mario Brothers is probably Luigi's Mansion. Let's be totally honest. Come on, let's be totally honest. So, with that being said, if to talk about a console war, then Microsoft just won. Period. Nintendo can't compete with it just because of a business practice. But and again, the hardware, like.
No, I'm gonna just say this. Like you said, the hardware. Like people saying that Nintendo can't do it graphically. I'm like, they could do it. They just don't want to do it. They could. People's like, how?
It's because they're not trying to. But they're not trying to go to that. Because that opens up way too many things, and they're not trying to go into that ESRB rating. They truly aren't.
Because like people's like they can't. I said they could. I said people's like how. I said you remember the Nintendo GameCube back in the day? Remember one of the best fighting games of all time, Soul Calibur 2, and how it's visually almost like the same thing on all three consoles. And they was like, oh, PlayStation, you get Heihachi. Nintendo, you get Link.
But the problem is where the focus ended up going is because Sony and Microsoft went to more robust hardware, which pushed the graphical fidelity. Nintendo went to proprietary technology, focusing on that, on the Wii, which is the wireless technology and peripherals. Because if you look at how Call of Duty, because I have the Resident Evil, Umbrella Chronicles, and Darkside Chronicles, which are technically rail shooters.
Yeah.
But when you look at the graphics of that versus you actually looking at how when the Wii came out, if I'm correct, PS3 and it was Xbox 360 were the competitors. There's no comparison. Like the Call of Duties on all three, there's no comparison. Like it's kind of hard to contest that. But again, can the Switch do it?
They could.
I'm sure it could, but we're talking about another console. Is probably going to be called what? Switch XXXL, and it's going to jump up like $200.
But the reason I said they could do it, we talking about Nintendo now. We talking about something. But the last thing I was gonna say is that Nintendo could do it. I'm like people's like how I was like, look at Bayonetta 3. Look at how damn good it looked. Yeah, I'm like, I was like, you could 100%.
Because what happens is anytime a new console comes out, developers normally will get a console ahead of time to be able to work on something. But it takes time. It takes a console being out for a long enough time frame to where they're able to push out as much as they can. who's to say that Bayonetta 3 coming out isn't pushing the Switch to its maximum capacity?
And the same with Metroid Dread. I'm like, look how great. I'm just like, come. But
so yeah, can they make it look good? Yes,
could.
But it's kind of like, okay, like what is it doing as far as the amount of resources that it takes on the system? You know what I'm saying? That's where Sony and Microsoft technically doesn't have those issues, because let's be totally honest, guys. PS3 was one of the greatest game consoles to actually come out, but do you know what it was infamous for? Them load times. It took 24 hours, if not more, depending on the size of the game, for you to put the disc in so it can actually load onto the system. Like, I don't think nobody wants that anymore.
Each of the three has something to go for. The once PlayStation, PS3 is loading time, Xbox was the red ring of death, and Nintendo was just basically, you're gonna throw your damn controller at the damn TV, breaking your crap apart. That's basically all three.
But 2 of them were superior in that code, while the other one was horrible. Switch was horrible. Not Switch. Wii was horrible in that code. Well, technically, I think they said the Switch is still horrible in that code too.
Yeah,
roughly.
But the only upside to the Nintendo Wii, it gave us one of the best controllers ever, which was the dang old classic controller.
Yeah, which turned into the Pro controller, which now people use till this day.
Yeah, which is one of the best controllers ever. And we both agree, we put it on S tier on that, the Wii's classic controller. We put it on S tier.
Oh yeah, I got the classic controller and I got the classic controller Pro. Granted, I like the classic controller more. But the only problem that the classic controller have is that it does not fit adult hands. But they cater to technically it caters to a younger audience.
But it was still comfortable. It was still pretty good. I'm just like,
oh yeah, 100%. But I mean, we looked that up. But it's just one of those things of, granted, is it fortunate that we live in the U.S.? Yes. Can you still find a PS5? Not really. But the fact that other countries, the price hike, I can't lie, man. They're not telling. I don't know if they tell you why, because I was looking through it and it doesn't tell you.
It doesn't tell you why.
But I'm guessing it's because of that element that they were talking about. I forget what it is. All I know is it goes in a lot of different electronics, and there's a pecking order. But it's probably that they're trying to get more systems out, so they're going to pay more to try to get priority. And of course, the person that got to get affected by it is the consumer. Because at the end of the day, like some people have said, people are going to pay for it. Look what happened when the PS5 first got announced. So many guys bought so many, and people were paying up to triple to quadruple the price on it. Like, why? Why do you need this so bad when you could just wait? But somebody's going to end up doing it. Yeah. A lot of people did extortion price hikes, and it worked. So
that's basically it.
But Sony, I want you to think about this, and you know what? Hell, Sony might not ever even see this episode. I want you to think Sony's gaming division. Think about just how beloved your fan base is, that to support your system. Granted, bots bought your stuff, so you got your money automatically. But people want to be a part of that family of having a PS5 so much that they were willing to pay double, triple, quadruple the price. Now, I'm not telling you to do it, is because if you only make a system that's limited to only a certain epsilon of people, then you're kind of losing out. But at the same token, the price hike for other countries, I actually don't agree with it. But until y'all come out and defend yourself against the backlash of what people are saying, and even I'm technically even bashing in a way. Yeah,
it's not really.
Yeah, so which one?
But I expected this to happen because this series was trash. Resident Evil.
Okay. The thing I don't know about, so I get to get educated. So let me know what's going on with this.
You didn't watch it?
Which one?
The Resident Evil series.
We talking about the CGI when it came out a while ago?
No, the most recent one.
What platform is it on?
Netflix.
Don't have it, so no.
Good man. Don't watch it.
Wait. So for the fans and the audience alike, for you to say something like that, and we already referenced this before we even started filming, that means it's on par with the Dragon Ball live action and the Last Airbender movie. It's on par with the infamous Inhumans TV series. It can't be that bad.
It's
like those three are atrocious. It can't be that bad.
I wouldn't say it's bad as those, but it's just horrible. How can you the creators who made this? How can you not the first part of the series? You're in the mansion. How is it this hard? I'm trying to be a filmmaker myself. How is it this hard to put the characters in a mansion? Talk about the story of the mansion incident, but then you hopscotch it to the city in the next step. I'm like, that make no sense.
At least the movies did each part justice. Wait. How many episodes is it?
I don't know. I think it was like 10 episodes. A few of them.
How long?
Basically, like.
How long the time frame?
Like between 45 to 50 minutes. Like basically like an hour or so.
10 episodes, roughly 50 minutes each. Yeah, they didn't do that justice.
I'm like, is it that hard to do? Heck, I'm like, if I had the money, if I do a film to do a Resident Evil series, it would be Resident Evil 0, almost like basically off the game of basically the story of Dr. Marcus, how the T virus.
Yeah, so the first season technically should be like the build up and however, like you can, where you play in the game should technically be like the last like maybe 4 episodes.
Yes.
And the beginning part should literally be the build up of the origin. Maybe they actually show some flashbacks on things that was going on. And it just literally building it up and hyping it up to the point to where all of a sudden once you get to like episode 5 or 6, it's like, oh, this feels familiar from the game. That would make more sense. And and I hate to say it. So wait, so did they have Capcom anywhere in the credits?
Nope.
So this wait.
No, like Capcom, they referenced Capcom, but Capcom was not.
So this is not a part of Capcom.
Nope.
Okay.
No, like
that speaks a lot though. That speaks a lot.
So like, I always put like made by Capcom, like they give them like a shout out or something like that. But Capcom had nothing to do.
And that's the reason why this series probably failed, is because they can't follow the exact timeline. They unfortunately can't. If you do not have the good, because Milla Jovovich and the REP, that had Capcom, that was supported by Capcom. That's the reason why they were able to show off iconic things and everything else. But wait, question: did they show the liquors? Did it look like a liquor?
It looked like crap.
Okay, so even without me having to see it, I understand certain things. One, not supported by Capcom, but you're being supported on Netflix. Your budget must not have been that high.
Nope.
Nowhere near that high. But then on top of that, by you not having Capcom's graces, you have to try to come up with something comparable or very similar, but you have to either force feed or rush things so that you don't get copyright hit hard. That, man. But again, like I said, I haven't seen it. I'll do some research into it myself, but I mean, that's no different than if you're trying to do content creating and everything else. When you do fan made stuff, like YouTube is infamous for it to where you see fan made stuff all the time, and what happens? It gets taken down. Is because why? The fan made stuff is better than what they make. And unfortunately, a lot of times it deals with that. But normally when something's being made for a particular company, there's so much red tape behind it that it ends up being less than stellar. So, because I remember I seen a Mega Man fan film. There's the infamous Power Rangers Shattered Grid, which was literally like a rated R slash, hell, you might as well call it double R. Rangers were dying. But it was so good to see a gritty different Ranger one, but it got taken down because, well, that wasn't the likeness that Saban or whoever owned it at the time wanted. So you not having Capcom's good graces to do it? I honestly,
and it's basically about Wesker's kids. There's no Jill, there's no Chris, there's no Leon, there's no Carlos, there's no basically.
So it wasn't. Wait. So it technically isn't a Resident Evil film. Like, you might as well call it Resident Evil Aftermath. Oh, I'm sorry, Mila Jovovich stole that title already.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
Like, you got no of the original cast. The only thing that you would probably say besides Wesker is Lisa Trevor. But she was a boss in the game of the original Resident Evil, that disfigured person that they tortured.
So this is a horrible fan made, which those two normally don't go together. It's a horrible fan made, backed by Netflix, but not by Capcom.
You can even look on Wikipedia. It just said you won't see Capcom as one of the producers or distributors. It will say, and I'm gonna show you right here. And I'm gonna show you guys on screen. Distributors, Netflix streaming services. You don't see not one thing of Capcom on it.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting.
And
that
the only thing Capcom just says Resident Evil based by Capcom. That's it.
it would have been better if they just would have just came up with their own zombie style movie or monster series or something like that at this point. But you know what? If in some type of way, if I can get Netflix, I would watch it for reference, just to see eventually. But that don't sound too good.